All right, on this episode of Bowks Talking Bouts, excited to be talking to an individual set to headline a BKFC 41, which transpires on April 29th, and a very intriguing fight as Mike Perry and Luke Rockhold knuckle up and toe the line, and great having Luke on the show. How's your day going so far, man?
It's we're just driving, man. There's a lot up in Denver. Everything's pretty spaced out up here, so headed over to the Onyx gym. Trevor's opened up for us, and gonna get some detail work in the lab. Perillo and a team.
Yeah, I love hearing that, and I'm kind of curious to get some insights here, because when I spoke to Eddie Alvarez, it was almost like this is like a getting back to the roots kind of thing, almost like throwing down in the streets like in the early days, and it kind of seems like a similar kind of thing with you. Can you kind of talk about that a little bit? Like, does it feel almost like a new thing, but also very familiar all the same?
It's new. It's definitely it's interesting. You know what I mean? It makes you think and adapt. It's like something, like back in the day where you have to adapt to something new and understand the new game and an opponent and new obstacles. So I stop fucking blinkering, dog. Blinker, fuck. Sorry, my friend over here just buzzed at his blinker.
Sorry, I like to drive legally. Safely.
Anyway, yeah, I'm ready.
Yeah, and that was quite the, first face-off and everything like that. It was something that seemed to get social media kind of buzzing a bit. I think one of the bigger questions coming out of that, a lot of people had even kind of coming my way, like, did he rub the booger on you, or was he just intimating he was rubbing a booger on you?
Mike's a showman. If he really rubbed a booger on me, I would have fucking slapped the shit out of him. But I'm sure it'll come back around. But he plays a good act. But I think it's you do you, kid. It's fucking keep the game a little more up. Mike's where he's at because of how he acts.
And I guess, how would you describe the temperament going into this fight? Because it seems like certain times both of you guys will, I guess, get like a bit heated with each other. Like, it seems like there's a certain level of mounting tension, but then it also seems like sometimes there's like some playful exchanges, like when he was talking about how you're not good at words, and you guys had that brief exchange. It seemed like you kind of laughed. Like, how would you describe the, I guess, general temperament between you two heading into this fight?
But I think there's a mutual respect on fighting, and Mike's put his ass on the line, and he's fought some tough guys, and he fucking fights. He brings it. So I have respect for that, for people who fight, but we're fighting each other. And so as it gets closer to this fight, I'm sure it's just going to get a little more dicey, a little more against the grain.
Yeah, for sure. And you were talking about, acclimating yourself to the higher altitude and some of the great Jason Perillo work, but it also seems like you've, I guess, picked the brain a little bit of BKFC heavyweight champion Alan Belcher. Can you kind of talk about, some of those interactions with Alan heading into this?
I'm trying to gain as much knowledge as I can. I always try to when I'm fighting. So, and especially in a new world. So I reached out to Alan, and Alan just kind of confirmed a lot of thoughts and different things. You just got to reiterate certain points. So it's you got to be a sniper. You got to be mindful of certain things. So it's good to hear some insight and watch them. Just watching the people who are the best at what they do. In each little thing, you learn a little something from everybody. So I've been picking up on just training techniques from everybody, from Alan and the guys, watching the game and learning. It's a new world. It's fun.
Yeah, I love hearing that. And as much as it's a new sport and, very exciting, like I was seeing a past interview where you were talking about, and to the point of, shot selection, like how you broke your hand against Keith Jardine and kind of learned not to, punch the top of the head was the, I guess, operative wording you used. Like, how much from your MMA career and instances like that can you glean from to really, I guess, carry over into this new sport?
Yeah, I mean, I have a lot of experience getting kicked. I don't have to worry about throwing kicks. All I have to focus on is my balance in my hands and my, hitting my spots. So I think there's a lot of skill. And, people have a certain expectation of what they see in me, and they don't know. You know what you're going to get from Mike Perry. Mike Perry's going to be what he's going to be. People don't know what they're going to get from me. They can expect an old Luke, but this is a different game, and my game has risen a lot in the last few years. Mike wants to talk about fucking an old Bisbing fucking fight from, what is that, 7 years ago? Come on. I haven't been clipped in a long time. I've been standing up against some of the toughest shots. I mean, Paulo Costa hit me with everything he had, and I stood there, so I don't expect Mike to hit much harder than that. I expect to fight my fight and to show.
And that's kind of curious, like, what do you think that, that's born from? Like, you talk about some people maybe having a preconceived notion of, who you are and maybe what your attributes are. Like, why do you, I guess, think that is, as best you can tell?
People want to believe what they want to believe. People just don't like certain people. Certain people don't like the way I look or something like that, and they're gonna remember what they want to remember. The same thing about Mike Perry. I'm sure people like certain people and they don't like certain people. That's the beauty of fighting. You gravitate to the people you like, and you fucking go against the people you don't like. And so, period. The storyline is you fucking fight. Some people win, some people lose.
And I'm kind of curious because, I mean, it seems like very much like the fire has been reignited, especially notable across the last fight with Paulo Costa and, leading into this one. And you've been very open talking about some of the, experiences you've had in, I guess, the last couple of years with, psychedelics there. Like, how much of those experiences and what's been, I guess, maybe imparted from that, like, how much has that played into, like, I guess, rekindling the fervor for fighting?
I mean, I'm a believer in psychedelics for sure. They help you get better and just getting away from the fight game. And I kind of did it for the wrong reasons for so many years. I was once I won the world title, and I lost the world title, and then I had to chase throughout. I was doing the Ralph Lauren deal, and the UFC was kind of fighting against me. You're trying to fight for your worth, and you do it for the wrong reasons. And the last fight was for me, and you saw a little bit, a glimpse of what I'm doing, and I'm only getting better. And that was just kind of shaking some rust off, and my hands have come a long ways since I left back 3.5 years ago from the fight game. So I expect to just accelerate on where I was last time with Paulo and show a lot more. Perry's a smaller guy. It makes me use my range and my boxing a lot more. I want to sit down and I'm going to crack him. This kid doesn't do well down the line. He doesn't do too well with a lot of things that I bring to the table. I believe the styles make matchups, and I'm going to fucking hurt this kid.
And it's interesting because I guess to the prior point of maybe certain things being able to transfer over, like, it always seemed like you were very adept with, like, your footwork and things like that. I feel like that would pay dividends in a sport like this where that seems paramount for, I guess, defensive responsibility.
Yeah, you got to be responsive, you got to be defensive, you got to be offensive. You have to have it all. It's a small space, and not a lot of room to move, but if you can get a corner, capitalize, and use my wrestling too. I mean, I think it's Mike's not really ready for. I've been wrestling my whole life, and my size is gonna play a factor, and I'm gonna fucking get in there, manipulate, and put him in a place where I want to be and weigh on him. So there's a lot of things I'm gonna push and play.
Yeah, and in terms of being playful, it seems like the, I guess, free agency is very much kind of allowing for you to do that, and something that kind of piqued my interest a little bit. You made a comment talking to Ariel Helwani about, having the contractual freedom to possibly jump off the top rope if you want to. Has DC been getting in your ear a little bit? Are you thinking about maybe stepping into pro wrestling at some point, perhaps?
I wouldn't. He wouldn't get my ear as much as that. I'd say more Jacob Casper is trying to instigate a match. He wants to get beat down by The Rock, but we'll see. See if he makes it to the big leagues, chase each other, meet each other at the top. But I'm focused on Mike Perry and beating these motherfuckers. I want to fight for a while. I got a couple, 2-3 good years left in me, and I got some big things ahead on my mind. So I'm gonna stay on the game.
And I'd be remiss if I didn't ask what those big things are. Like, what does that what does that represent to you? Like, what are these big things you're aiming for?
Big fights, man. I just want to. I'm enjoying being a free agent. My own promotion, finding the fights that I want to fight, and finding the fights that fucking get my fans and the public excited. So that gets me fucking up. I have a freedom to go and fight wherever I want. There's a lot of different promotions and fights and boxing and fucking all kinds of shit. So I enjoy, being able to make my own path, not being told what to do. I've been in that game for a long time where it's not being told, but it's negotiation, and it's always on. They're controlling the card, the deck. So I don't like to control my own deck. I think as many people do.
And I think this is one of the more, compelling times for that than ever. Like, I don't necessarily know how much you're following this, but the, story breaking about UFC's parent company, Endeavor, buying WWE and kind of looking to, I guess, curate things more in that kind of vein. Like, I feel like that would invariably lead to a lot of very interesting free agents kind of, choosing to leave and see their, value on the market, as it were. Does something like that excite you? Is that something you followed at all, or not so much?
I'm not, I don't understand that business side of things. I just focus on the fight game. I'm not sure why UFC and WWE would merge. I think they're two different leagues, and I don't know. You got the slap fighting, the UFC, the WWE. I'm like, how is it all? How do you watch it when it's all on the same platforms and different things? It's like people want to be fans of what they want to be of. Like, some people aren't fans of the UFC that are fans of WWE. Some people aren't fans of WWE that are UFC fans. So it's like, and most people aren't slap fucking fighting fans. So I think they should all be in their own lane. I don't really agree with any of it. They're basically just standing there and signing themselves off to get knocked the fuck out with no technique whatsoever, and that's sanctioned. That just shows you the corruption of Las Vegas, which is bullshit.
I mean, I imagine it's
strategy.
Yeah, I mean, I totally agree. I guess I was just going to say, I imagine it's probably refreshing for you to, be a free agent at this juncture and to kind of be doing your own thing now. It very much seems like that's the case, at least.
Feels good, man. Feels good. I like it.
And I'm curious about these opponents, because it seems like, understandably, a lot has been made of a potential, Darren Till fight down the line. But I'm curious, are there other fights that you're specifically eyeballing, either, bare knuckle boxing or gloved boxing specific?
I'm gonna focus right now on what's in front of me. Mike's a tough kid, and it's time to put it on him. So that's it. There's nothing we talked about until I get through this kid.
Yeah, definitely. And to that point, like, in terms of, I guess, the X's and O's of what he does well in the ring, like, what would you say some of his better stylistic attributes are as a bare knuckle boxer?
He's great at taking a shot.
Is that the only attribute? Is that only what you're seeing there, kind of thing?
Mike's slick. Mike's pretty slick. He can take a shot and he can give it. He's tenacious. Since he's left the UFC, he's somehow gotten a lot more cardio and a lot more strength and a lot more diligent and a lot more forward. So there's a lot to understand and to take into calibrate.
Yeah, I mean, it's very interesting. I guess, like, how do you without giving too much of your game plan away, aim to kind of counteract that? Like, is it almost a matter of like being mindful of like the shot selection and, you know, counter striking, like accounting for his, I guess, durability and forward pressure?
I gotta be in shape, man. We're up in Denver, and those are intense 2-minute rounds. I mean, those 2-minute rounds look like they last longer than most fucking UFC fights. Honestly, they look. And Mike is just constantly in your face, so it just makes it feel even longer. I'm sure. Working against them, you know, put them in those clinch positions and weighing on them and slowing them down, and then tagging them down the line. Man, he's very straightforward, and once you kill that momentum, just making a pay with using my length. That's it. And then power. I don't think he's ever felt power like mine. He's fought a lot of guys, but I promise you, I hit harder than anybody he's ever been around in his whole fucking career, sparring and fighting. I hit hard.
And from what I can glean from kind of talking to you, you seem quite confident in your ability to end this inside the distance and everything like that. And you seem like a guy who would, I guess, visualize a lot. Like, do you have a specific prediction for this fight that you've been, I guess, mulling over and over, like a predominant visualization, perhaps?
I just see myself landing on his face. I see myself putting shot after shot, and it's just a matter of if he can take it or not. And so this could end by doctor stoppage, or this kid, you know, if he really depends how well he can take a big man shot. You know, he's coming up weight. I gotta cut some weight. So it's a fight. Fight's a fight.
Yeah, and definitely a very compelling one, and I appreciate the insights for sure, but it seems like you're a very well-rounded athlete in general. Like, it seems like you've had some skateboarding and surfing in the past, and I hear you're a pretty prolific pickleball player these days. My buddy B-Man is quite into playing pickleball. What advice do you have for an aspiring pickleballer? It seems like you're putting it on Jason Perillo there a bit.
Man, I own pickleball court back at the gym. Yeah, like giving people 8-9 point leads and still taking their money. Anybody can get it. Mike Perry can get it too. Yeah, it's footwork, hand-eye coordination. You got to stay on point. My eyes are here. My body's on. You know, I'm very. My hand-eye coordination's there, and that's what, you know. My pickleball has really led me into this bare knuckle fight game.
Yeah, absolutely, and been really great getting to talk to you. But like I was saying before, definitely, you know, want to be mindful of your time too, Luke. So to that point, is there anything you may want to add as a parting thought as we're kind of, you know, wrapping up here?
Tune in, me and Mikey Perry. It's gonna be bloody. It's gonna be a war for his face. Enjoy it.
Yeah, it's going to be a very compelling fight at BKFC 41. And again, to reiterate, thanks for the insights and coming on, man, and just have a good rest of your day too. Thanks so much.